The Golden State Warriors have finally signed a point guard to pair along with Jordan Poole in the backcourt. After watching a ton of undrafted players battle it out in Summer League, exactly halfway through the entire process, the Warriors signed ex-Brooklyn point guard 5'11" Chris Chiozza. And I know exactly what you're thinking because I thought the same thing. Why are the Warriors pairing a 6'4" Jordan Poole, who's still improving his defense, with a 5'11" guard? And truth be told, he looks closer to 5'8" or 5'9" at the most. Your guess may be as good as mine, but I'm going to go ahead and put my neck out there and say that the team has likely seen enough and decided they won't get the player they're looking for in the Summer League, and if they wait any longer, there won't be any alternative options. So they just sign about the only remaining point guard in free agency to a two-way contract. Yes, there are in fact other point guards remaining, such as Dennis Smith Jr., Frank Ntilikina, Avery Bradley, and Dennis Schroeder. The Warriors are still holding on to Michael Mulder and Damian Lee, who are both due to become restricted free agents in 2022. That means that the Warriors have a full 15-man roster on the books that includes Steph, Clay, Wiggins, Dre, Wiseman, Poole, Moody, Kuminga, Iguodala, Bjelica, Mulder, Lee, Porter Jr., JTA, and Looney. They used one of two-way contracts to sign Chiozza, and the other was used to make a qualifying offer to Nico, who is currently a restricted free agent. So that's it for the Warriors roster. This means that none of the young guys that played in the Summer League will actually make it onto the team. The Warriors literally have no spots remaining to sign anyone else on any sort of guaranteed contract. Hence the reason they had to go with Chiozza and sign him to a two-way deal. So who's this Chiozza guy? If you don't know Chris Chiozza, just look for the smallest guy on the court. Chris Chiozza came into the league at 23 years old. He's a 3-year veteran who will enter his 4th year on the Warriors' two-way contract. He played for the Houston Rockets in his first year, then played for the Wizards, and then the Brooklyn Nets for a year and a half after that. At the end of this past season, he became an unrestricted free agent and the Warriors made him the only offer he received. Last season, Chiozza averaged 3 assists per game in 10 minutes on the floor. This guy is a facilitating machine despite his small size. That, however, is where the good stuff ends. Chiozza had 35% shooting from the field. Not from 3, from the field. His 3-point percentage was 31%, and he averaged 4 points per game as well as a single rebound. He has an uncanny ability to pass absolute dimes because of his handles, and his small size allows him to easily get by bigger players. This size does become a disadvantage, however, when he tries to go up and finish. Smaller players like Chiozza are typically very gifted offensively, and his shooting stroke looks as good as any other. On defense, however, this tends to be a big weakness as they get swallowed up by other guards who just shoot over them. At this size, guarding a typical point guard is not that much different than a typical point guard trying to guard KD. It's just not happening. I suspect his facilitating and experience is what got the Warriors interested, but his efficiency is what allowed him to be signed by the Warriors on a two-way contract. He's literally the only player with enough experience that the Warriors could afford a roster spot without trading one of Michael Mulder or Damian Lee. This means that this is likely the last move of the Warriors this offseason. They may still make a move at the trade deadline if they see the second unit isn't panning out and move Mulder or Lee for a better facilitating point guard and use one of the two-way spots for one of the Summer League players they will likely stash in the G League. This could also be a part of the reason why so many players that were on the California Classic roster ended up off the Vegas roster. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say some of those players likely left of their own accord to look for opportunities with other teams when they realized that there was a very slim chance they'd get signed. There's also the possibility that some of these guys were told that the plan is to have them play in the G League, and if an opportunity comes up like the one I just mentioned, they'd get called up on a two-way contract. I know we only get to see the good stuff that these guys do on the court, but the reality is much different for these guys who are playing their hearts out for a spot on the roster. While Chiozza isn't going to move the needle much for the Warriors, it is the best they could do aside from getting one of the guys from the Summer League roster, and none were more ready than Chiozza. If he doesn't pan out, he'll most likely be replaced by the trade deadline, and the Warriors will have to consider whether the current point guards can handle the load and just grab someone from the G League, or try to facilitate a trade that includes Mulder for a backup point guard. This is a situation that the team will try to avoid, but there are no guarantees. Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to leave a comment on Chris Chiozza. Is he going to be good for the team? Is he secretly your favorite player? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more content. Till next time.
TikTok word, I'm a player, the real Slayer. I don't give a prayer, man, fuck a naysayer. I block so hard, sweetie get served. Call me Lonzo Ball, bitches get swerved.
Usually